Welcome to Come Together, a benefit for Neighborhood Alliance. My name is Jeff Hudson, and I have the honor of being your MC tonight. I was a part of the Neighborhood Alliance board, and I was the chairman of the board for many years before I relocated to Kentucky in 2020. So I know that the board is in great hands with Kathy Valderrama now being the president of the board. And it's great, yes, give her a round of applause. And I have to say it was great to see you, Kathy, and all the board members who are here, and the staff of Neighborhood Alliance who are here, and all of the amazing friends and supporters of Neighborhood Alliance who have come out tonight. We really thank you for being here. You know, since relocating to Kentucky back in 2020, there's so many things about a community where you live in that you kind of take for granted, and you don't realize the good stuff you have. And since I've moved away, I realize all these unique, amazing things that we have here in Cleveland and Lorain County. Things like the metro parks, things like the beautiful theaters in Playhouse Square, the amazing restaurants and food that we have here in Cleveland. Obviously, I've managed to survive, as you can tell, but still, I miss those things. The rich cultural diversity of all of the immigrants in this city. Believe me, we do not have that in Kentucky, y'all. And I have been there 3 years and have been assimilated, and I will say y'all quite a bit throughout the night, probably. I can't help it, sorry. But all these amazing, unique things that we have here in Cleveland and Lorain County, I'd really be remiss not to mention the one that we're all here for tonight, which is Neighborhood Alliance. As you think about nonprofit organizations, I can think of very few that offer the breadth of services and the ability to impact such a diverse set of people in our community with their services that are offered by Neighborhood Alliance. And I think that's something unique. It's something to be celebrated. And I will say that Neighborhood Alliance has always held a special place in my heart as someone who experienced homelessness as a child when we had a house fire. It's always been an organization that I've been passionate about supporting, and I'm sure, because all of you are here tonight, that you feel the same way about it. And it's great to have everyone here. It's going to be a great evening. Thank you for coming out. And as I introduce the next speaker to the stage, I did just want to mention that as a part of my day job, I work in human resources, and I was the chair of the board of Neighborhood Alliance during the time that we brought in a new CEO. And I often tell people that in my 20-plus human resources career, this was the best hire that I ever made. Yes. Alicia Foss has done amazing things with Neighborhood Alliance, and the staff and the team that she's built just have taken this organization to new heights. And I'm so proud of the whole team, and it's a great pleasure to welcome Alicia Foss to the stage.
Well, now I have to be really impressive, don't I? Thank you, Jeff, and thank you for being here tonight. I'm so glad that you were able to join us and be a part of this celebration of everything that we're doing in the community. So I want to thank you all for being here this evening with us. Neighborhood Alliance has been compassionately caring for the community for nearly 100 years. We have 4 core areas of service, including child enrichment, family support, senior enrichment, and shelter and emergency services. These 4 core areas of service encompass 10 unique programs. People don't always realize that. But it's a variety of different community resources that are available to Lorain County residents in need through our programming. Our mission is to help communities grow stronger by meeting critical needs and empowering individuals and families. People will sometimes ask, what do we mean by critical needs? A critical need can be different for every person that we serve. It can mean a safe educational environment for a single mom who needs to find care for her children while she works. It could be helping our community's youngest members to grow up healthy and receive the support they need to prepare for kindergarten, a home-delivered meal, or a friendly ear to listen, socialization and supportive services for older adults, food and shelter for someone who has lost their home, or a hand up for someone who is in turmoil. Our team seeks to not only meet the critical needs of those we serve, but the critical needs in our community as well. Where we see gaps in services, we are constantly looking for new ways to fill that gap and ensure that our county has the best community resources that we can provide. We are helping communities grow stronger. Tonight, we will focus specifically on our shelter and emergency services, talking about some of the gaps we have seen for this population, as well as our plans to create a better support system for people experiencing homelessness in Lorain County. But before we get to that, I want to thank all of our wonderful sponsors who are here tonight that sponsored this event. Thank you all for your support. Without you, we would not be where we are, and we are so appreciative that you all chose to spend your Thursday evening with us, even on a beautiful night like tonight. We have a few surprises in store for you this evening, and I hope you will enjoy being a part of this next phase in our journey. Last year, at this very event, we shared, I'm gonna cry already, our vision for the Neighborhood Nutrition Kitchen, which we broke ground on 1 week after last year's Come Together event. Over the course of this last year, an old, abandoned, sometimes smelly locker room has been transformed to a beautiful, full-scale catering kitchen. Many of you know that we began planning for this kitchen in 2019 when the pandemic first hit and we were staring into the face of a 600-person waiting list for home-delivered meals. What began by making simple modifications in our delivery schedules, which allowed us to clear that wait list at that time, took a new direction with the donation of the former Elyria YMCA building. The United States Census shows that by the year 2034, there will be more older adults in our communities than people under the age of 18. Every week, our team fields 40 to 50 calls from people in the community who would like to receive home-delivered meals. Most of them are sadly placed on a wait list. They have to wait until an opening is available in the program. This new kitchen will help us to eliminate the waiting list for the last time. We have already begun the process of adding in additional communities like Avon, Avon Lake, Sheffield Village, and Sheffield Lake into our delivery territory at the beginning of this year. The new kitchen will allow us the space we need to serve the vast majority of Lorain County communities through home-delivered meals. The Neighborhood Nutrition Kitchen was designed to take us from serving 150,000 meals annually to a capacity of more than 350,000 meals each year. By consolidating our home-delivered meals, child enrichment, and Haven Center food service, we will use economies of scale to drive down food costs and maximize the nutritional content of each meal. Thank you. So the video ended before I was done because I spoke slowly tonight because I didn't have a bunch of coffee. My staff will thank me very much for that. We've developed a timeline for this new kitchen to begin cooking and processing the meals for our other locations and have actually already begun processing meals for senior enrichment and cooking for our child enrichment centers. Next on our list is to begin cooking the meals for the Haven Center. We look forward to providing more meals to the community as we move forward with our plans. All right, so just a few short weeks ago, and some of you were able to join us for this, we were able to celebrate our grand opening of the Neighborhood Nutrition Kitchen with a friendly chef's competition. We called it the Food Pantry Spork-Off. It was a very fun event, and so I hope all of you got to be a part of that. If not, you can watch the video because we recorded the whole thing. With the assistance of Second Harvest Food Bank, we gave 3 chefs and their team of community partners mystery items that you might find in a food pantry and challenged them to break in our new kitchen by creating a delicious dish from each of these items. The winner of that event received the Spork Award, not to be confused with the Spark Award, which we're going to give out later today. Local chef Michael Castro from Modern Elegance Chefs was the recipient of our first Spork Award. And he's here in the audience with us tonight. Chef Castro? All of the chefs were able to create a masterpiece, but his was particularly special. And you have a unique opportunity this evening to bid on an auction item that will allow you to experience his cooking firsthand. Please make sure you check out all of the auction items that we have. We have a lot of great things that have been generously donated to us to help our cause, and make your bids. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. We have a nice selection this year. And Chef, thank you for being a part of our grand opening and for being here tonight. We truly appreciate your support. So every year when we have our Come Together event, we give out a Spark Award. This award goes to a person or a group of people we feel has helped spark change in our community, and someone who has touched the lives of those we serve. This year, we have a group that we're going to present this award to tonight. The Continuum of Care for the Homeless Community in our county was designed to promote a community-wide commitment to a goal of ending homelessness. It provides funding and encourages the quick rehousing of homeless individuals and families, persons fleeing domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault and stalking, and the youth, while also minimizing the trauma and dislocation caused by homelessness. It promotes access to and effective utilization of mainstream programs by homeless individuals and families, and helps to optimize self-sufficiency among those experiencing homelessness. I began working with our local Continuum of Care about 5 years ago when I first came in as CEO of this wonderful organization. They do a lot of work that a lot of people don't realize goes on in our community. From point-in-time counts, where they scour the streets in the middle of the night, in the dead of winter, to collect an accurate count of the county's homeless population, to working together to develop an emergency plan to implement warming centers in the midst of a pandemic, to the day-to-day routine of caring for people in the most desperate of situations, to countless hours of advocacy for those experiencing not only homelessness but severe mental health concerns, and educating the community on the importance of supportive and affordable housing. What this group does day in and day out is nothing short of heroic. In this room tonight, we have representatives from Coordinated Entry, Catholic Charities St. Elizabeth Center, the Nord Center, the Mars Board, United Way of Greater Lorain County, and of course, Neighborhood Alliance, Haven Center, and PATH programs. They're all here representing the COC tonight. And let me tell you, they're right over here, and that is a very powerful group of people at that table. To all of you, your fortitude, resilience, strength, perseverance, and sometimes just plain old grit are an inspiration. And it is a privilege to call you all partners and friends. I couldn't possibly list every organization, city, county member who have been involved in this group over the years because there are just too many. So many people are involved in making sure that the homeless are taken care of in our community. But we invited some of our closest allies to be honored here tonight. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you're all coming up here with me. So if you could all make your way up to the stage, I would greatly appreciate it. Accepting this year's award on behalf of the Continuum of Care's United Way's Stacy Slack, coordinator of the Continuum of Care. It is with pleasure that I present this year's Spark Award to the Lorain County Continuum of Care. When most people think about shelter and emergency services, they think about the Haven Center Emergency Shelter because it is the largest and most well-known part of this core area of service. Tonight, we're going to talk not only about the Haven Center, but also about the PATH program, PATH SUD, UCAN, LC for Ukraine, and our newest venture, Family Promise of Greater Lorraine. We are going to give you a glimpse into the lives of people experiencing homelessness and the plans we have to update our space and provide more dignity to those we serve.
Neighborhood Alliance Outreach. Hello, I'm Shaniqua. I do PATH Outreach for Neighborhood Alliance.
Hi, I'm Charles. How you doing?
Well, hello, Charles. I see you outside. We do an outreach service. We provide service to individuals who are homeless that are experiencing mental health. Do you think you'll be interested in any of those services?
Well, I've been out here for a while now. Things have been going tough for me. I have my tent. It's a little bit tore up. I get wet at night. But, you know, I've been trying to do my best. I was in a group home before, but I had some issues with someone, then I had to leave. I didn't want to get in trouble, and I just kind of been out here. It's been struggling, but what else can I do? I don't have any money. I don't have anything I can offer, so.
Well, I have a tent, a sleeping bag, and some food supplies in my van. My partner, Heather, has the items. We can give it to you free at no cost to you.
Well, that would be nice. Do you guys help with, like, medicine or something like that? I used to go to Dr. Smith. He was at the North Center. I have my medicine there, and I was doing fine. You know, when I left the group home, I lost connection with the doctor, and I've been struggling, man, I tell you, and it's just been a hard time, and I don't want to keep being like this. I don't have access, I don't have money, and I don't have a way to get there, so I've just been here.
Well, we can help you get connected back to mental health services if that's what you'd like to do.
But I don't have any money.
You don't have to have any money. We can come over here and pick you up and take you to that appointment if you'll like.
Really? You guys can help me with that?
Yes, and we also have, there's a shelter. We can see if they have space available to try to get you in there so you don't have to be outside.
And can I take some of my stuff? I don't want to leave it outside.
You can take some of your stuff. We can actually schedule a ride to come back and pick you up to take you to the shelter if you like.
Well, tonight, I don't want to do it tonight. I feel like that's a lot, but tomorrow I'll be here, maybe like 11:30 or so. Would you guys come to get me?
Yes,
if I do
we can.
that?
Yes, we can come get you tomorrow. We have some supplies for you today. We'll give you that. I'll give you my card and my information, so if you have any concerns, you can call me. Or if you change your mind, we can just still come out and see you and bring you supplies.
Is it going to be you that is going to
Yes,
come?
it'll either be me or Heather, so just in case you won't be
Hi.
surprised, it'll just be one of us all the time.
Okay, well, make sure it's you guys, because I don't want to get in trouble. I know I'm not supposed to have this here, but I have nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's not my job to get you in trouble. My job is to help you and to provide you services and support that you need.
Okay, I can do that. 11:30 tomorrow, I'll be here.
Yes, sir, and I'll be back.
Do you have any food?
Yes,
I
I do.
haven't eaten. I ate yesterday dinner, but I really don't have anything else. And the pantry was closed today, so I haven't really had
I got some food items for you, a few things actually. You can just eat right out here. Okay, here you go.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So we'll see you here tomorrow, correct?
11:30, I'll be here. Just
Okay.
make sure that is you guys, okay? 'Cause
Yes, sir. We'll be back to get
I
you.
don't want to get in trouble.
All right.
Well, I appreciate it very much.
Oh, you're welcome. You have a nice day.
Thank you, Shaniqua.
And
Thank
stay
you, guys.
safe.
I will. I'll be here. I promise.
Neighborhood Alliance opened Haven Center in January of 1992, serving over 800 people that first year. Since that time, Neighborhood Alliance shelter and emergency services have evolved to include not only the Haven Center, but Family Promise, PATH, PATH SUD, UCAN, and LC for Ukraine, all providing emergency services to the homeless population in Lorain County. Haven Center has faced tremendous growth and demand over the last 3 years, directly impacting this extremely vulnerable population. In 2022, we provided 32,245 shelter nights to 639 unduplicated individuals. 205 were children. Haven has seen a change in the population served, with children as part of intact families becoming a greater part of the total being housed. The Haven Center acquired Family Promise of Lorain County in 2018, which helped ensure families were a priority for any available bed. The number of families who sought emergency shelter increased from 45 in 2019 to 53 in 2022. When 29 individuals who were experiencing homelessness were surveyed, the top 3 reasons for homelessness were violence at home, mental illness leading to difficulties holding down a job, and job loss due to COVID-19. Half of those surveyed were first-time homeless. Case management available through Haven Center focuses on individualized case plans to support families and individuals experiencing homelessness as they take positive steps toward mental health stability, employment, and housing. The full-service 68-bed Haven Center will undergo renovations resulting in additional beds. This will help to meet the goals of the Homeless System Strategic Plan for Lorain County. Projects for Assistance in Transition from Homelessness, or PATH, is designed to provide intensive outreach services to Lorain County residents who are homeless or in imminent risk of homelessness and suffer from a mental illness. PATH SUD, or substance use disorder, works alongside the PATH team to support homeless individuals whose primary diagnosis is substance use. The outreach providers connect the individuals or families with services and support to end their homelessness. The PATH team connected 77 individuals in 2022. UCAN is a community collaborative focused on providing the residents of Greater Lorain County with year-round access to emergency financial assistance. LC4 Ukraine supports Ukrainian refugees displaced by the war in the Ukraine. Our services are necessary to so many in our community, and we are honored to serve as we come together to help our community grow stronger.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Hello.
How you doing?
What brings you to the shelter?
Well, so me and my husband, we just recently had a baby, and then we have a 6-year-old who's autistic. I was staying at home working, and then he recently got hurt at work, and now he's disabled, so we were 2 incomes down to 1. With bills and everything piling up, in order for us not to get evicted, we chose to leave, and we were told to come here.
Okay, well you came to the right place. So the Haven Center Homeless Shelter is the only shelter in Lorain that serves men, women, and families. So what is it that we can help you with right today? I did hear that you said that your child is autistic, so do you have any facility that the child is going to meet their needs?
Well, my 6-year-old, yes, goes to the autism school downtown, but I will need some assistance and some services with the infant here, with me going back to work and him just being a caretaker on his own.
Okay, so we do have the Help Me Grow program that does assist with helping any children with developmental needs that would, they do home visits, as well as we do have child care. So if you guys are having issues with obtaining child care, you can actually put your child into our Neighborhood Alliance Child Care program for 90 days free, no cost to you.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because we didn't know what we were going to do with trying to provide for transportation with gas in our car for work and, buying formula for the baby, so.
Sure, absolutely. Also, I did hear that are you working full-time, part-time?
Part-time for now until, but you said you have daycare, so that baby would make me go back full-time.
Sure, do you have transportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So we can also help with gas cards for transportation if you're having any issues with that as well.
Oh, okay, that's great. Thank
And
you.
one thing, I'm going to be honest with you. When we left, there was a couple bills that were kind of getting backed up, and like everything just kind of happened at the same time, and it's a little overwhelming, and it's embarrassing, to be honest. And now that we're here, I was worried about being separated from my family, and then how are we going to get those bills taken care of, like right now,
Yeah, I understand that can be really
Do you
overwhelming.
guys help with any kind of like assistance financially with that?
So yes, actually, we do have a program that we work through with United Way. It's called UCAN. So because you said that you are working, that you guys might be eligible for that assistance, and they can help with any past due bill, like utilities that you have just spoken about.
That should help out a lot.
Now, do you guys have assistance with helping us find housing?
Yes, so we have 2 case managers in shelter that you guys would meet with, and they can help you with applying applications to programs that would help pay for your rent deposit, as well as giving you lists of housing of locations and units that are available in the county that you guys can apply to as well.
Okay, and that would they be able to help him find a job that he can do with his
They
disability?
can absolutely help with employment or with a disability application.
And do we have to pay for any of this?
Nope, it's free to you.
Oh, sign us up.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right. Well, let's get started on your intake, okay, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
My baby. Go for my baby.
That was great. I feel like we really got a glimpse into the day-to-day life of Neighborhood Alliance staff and clients. So I believe Shaniqua and Roberto and Heather are going to join me back out here so I can ask them some questions. Obviously, they do amazing work in their roles at Neighborhood Alliance, but I think they could also have a career in acting. So good job, all y'all. So why don't we start just by having you introduce yourself and tell us what your role is in Neighborhood Alliance and what you do to support the day-to-day programs.
Sure. My name is Heather. I am the coordinator of the Haven Center. My job is typically to do help with the day-to-day functioning. Sorry, I'm hearing the feedback between the 3 of us. The day-to-day functioning of the shelter, kind of with the front of the house stuff, with talking to the clients if they have any needs that the monitor can't necessarily answer, and just being more hands-on involved.
I'm Shaniqua. I do path outreach. I go out into the community and seek the homeless individuals like you've seen in the tent up there to provide them services and supports and try to connect them to mental health services like NORD and Far West.
My name is Roberto Emmanuel Toro. I am the Director of Emergency Shelter Services with Neighborhood Alliance. I oversee the PATH program. I oversee the case managers. I oversee UCAN. I oversee anything in the shelter that really needs that day. Like I was talking about Rich earlier, every day is a new challenge that we face. Every day is a new situation that we have to handle. So we just pull an audible each day to make sure that that happens that way. And so I oversee everything.
Great, thank you all. All right, so I want to break down the scenes that you all just acted out for us and ask you a little bit about those. Let's talk about the one with the homeless shelter. Tell us a little bit about the shelter for folks who haven't seen it. What can people expect when they walk into the shelter?
Sure. So the homeless shelter in itself has been stigmatized for a long time. There's a fear about what happens or what you see when you go into a homeless shelter. Thankfully, I've been there for about a year now. And my goal is to make sure that, first of all, when you go in there, you feel welcome. When you go into a homeless shelter, for the most part, you're not going there for a good reason. Something happened, something dramatic, something traumatic, something extreme has happened that's led you to come into a shelter. So I always advise our staff, our monitors, our case managers, and the coordinator that we have to be that welcoming presence when someone walks in. So we do have 24/7 security, and we do have a metal detector that we acquired roughly about a year ago that everyone that goes into the shelter has to go through, and it's just for the safety of everyone, including staff. So when you go in there, you get greeted by this monitor, and they're going to have a big smile on their face, and they're going to say their name, and they're going to start asking some questions just to help you acclimate to the system. They give you a tour of the shelter. They provide some quick hygiene products that you might need, including laundry detergent, toothpaste, toothbrush, some clothing items that you might need. If not, we will find it for you. So that's usually the first step. They'll sit with them and just go through some basic information. If the client or the family is not comfortable to do that right away, that's okay. We'll find some time to do it later. We're just trying to get them comfortable. We get them a bed or a room if it's a family. And real quick, Teresa, can you raise your hand? Teresa is our lead monitor. I want to make sure I give her a shout out because she's been doing it for a long time. She makes the job easy, to be honest with you. She makes our job a lot easier because by the time we come in, everything's already done. She'll be like, Roberto, beds are stripped, everything's been washed, everything's been disinfected for the new referrals coming in. So that's usually the first step when someone walks in. We just want to make sure that they feel welcome to the shelter. And any of you are welcome to come to the shelter. It's okay. You will survive. You'll be fine. It'll be fun. Trust me.
Thank you. I heard you mention in the skit about the Haven being the only shelter in Lorraine County that serves men, women, and intact families. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and tell us why that's important?
Of course, I love flaunting that because, again, Lorain County is huge. We have a lot of families, and we're the only shelter that takes men, women, children, and families. There is another shelter that does a great job at St. Elizabeth, but that's just men. So we focus more on the family aspect of it. Due to that, we are a low barrier shelter, but we do have high standards because we do have children in the shelter every single day. And as you guys know, there's a lot of things going on in this world, a lot of crazy stories, a lot of crazy trends and habits. And unfortunately, we have to be a little bit more uptight with our intake process and our referral acceptance, but that's okay, because like I said, when I see those kids running around the shelter, I want to make sure that they're safe. I want to make sure that no matter what is going on, I don't have to worry about these kids finding something or touching something or seeing something they're not supposed to. With that, we are working on the expansion as the videos keep explaining. So I'm really excited about that because the families will have a bigger space. There will be designated space for them to be families, which I'm looking forward to. There's going to be a courtyard that the kids can actually go and play, and there's no disruption. There's not going to be worrying about someone touching your kid or picking up something they're not supposed to. So we are going onward and forward with the family aspect of it, so I always flaunt that. We are the only family shelter, and we're striving to keep being that way for the county.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's so important to be able to keep the families together. So,
Yeah.
Shaniqua, you played a mother in the scene, and you shared some what I'm sure are common worries that parents ask about, fear of losing your children, how to get the services that you need. What other concerns do you see parents who come into the shelter who are requesting services? What other concerns do you see them having?
Most of the time, they're worried about losing their kids or the cost of childcare and providing for the kids while being there and trying to go to work. Transportation for school. Their child not being enrolled in our district or being in a different district, we assist them with that. That's most of their concerns. And then having a place to take their kids, to be outside or being anywhere with them other than just like watching TV or doing something just as them with the family.
I did want to add something to that with that. The Children Protective Services, they're not bad guys. A lot of the times when we contact them, it's to help the family. There's another stigma with that. You call CPS or Children Protective Services, your kids are going to be taken away. That's not true. A lot of the time they prefer the call because they will assist with other resources that we might not be able to at that moment, including hotel rooms, including resources to family counseling or to other jobs. So I always like to bring that up because that's a bad stigma, especially in the homeless population. Just because, you're outside and you're with your child and you come into shelter, they're going to see that as you trying to keep the family together. So I always want to bring that up. Children Protective Services is not the bad guy. They're actually a good guy in this case. And our job is not to separate families. It's to keep them together. And if we contact them, it's to do that. The last thing on our list is to make sure that the kids are taken away from them. So I just want to bring that up there.
The CPS workers will actually do everything in their power to not separate the child from the mother or the father or whoever they're with. So with them being called, like you said, it's mainly just to get another resource where they have access to more resources than maybe we do. So CPS is not a bad call to make.
Thank you for sharing that. I was not aware of that, so that's definitely a good myth that y'all are busting here.
This was worth it then.
Let's go back to the first scenario, which was focused around the PATH program. Share with us a little bit of what you know about the prevalence of homelessness and the connection to people who have mental health concerns.
Sorry, y'all.
Was that one of the questions?
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
good.
It is.
I got worried when no one answered.
No, okay. I had to unfold my paper. I'm sorry. As many as 30% of homeless individuals are experiencing mental health concerns. People living in shelter are twice as likely to have a disability compared to the general public. 10% of people seeking mental health services or substance abuse treatment are homeless. And housing stability is proven to be a key factor in reducing relapses for drug abuse and traumas for mental health. So it's quite a big number. A lot of people who are out there, a lot of them do have some mental health, but not all homeless people have mental health or substance.
I wanted to add, when I started in this agency, I started with Shaniqua actually as a part-time PATH worker. For me, it was a shock. I come from finance. I don't come from social work. So when I started going out and seeing these people, that's exactly what they are. They're people. They're not numbers. They're not objects. They're people, just like you and I. And they have stories. A lot of them had jobs. They have bank accounts. They had houses, and things happen in life. So I learned to treat them as people. And I share that with you guys because if you do see someone in that situation, if you see a tent behind a building, don't scoff at it. And don't turn your nose at it either. Reach out to Shaniqua, reach out to me or Heather, and we're going to approach them as humans because you know what? They're just like you and me. Just one bad situation changed everything.
Thank you. I don't want to bring us down here, but I do want to ask just what are some of the biggest challenges you all face in your work as you're doing this job day to day and interacting with people and the kind of scenes we saw here?
I think the biggest thing right now is the lack of affordable housing. We have a struggle every day when it comes to having people find housing. That is a huge issue that we're running into. The lack of amount of family rooms as well. So while we are the only shelter in Lorain County, not only are we the only shelter in Lorain County that services both men, women, and families, we also only have 3 family rooms, and that's all we got. So, and that's for the entire county of Lorain County. So that's a huge barrier that we're experiencing because there are a lot of families, unfortunately, that are experiencing homelessness. We experienced it over the winter when we were doing motel vouchers. So unfortunately, we weren't able to, we tried to accommodate for everyone. You guys think of anything?
Well, I was going to say, and so you can kind of get an image. The family rooms we do have, again, come to the shelter, I'll show you. They're like 4-person max or 5 maybe. Anything more than that, we'll have an issue with the fire department. And obviously, we want to make sure they're comfortable. So when you have a mom with 3 children, mom and dad with 2 kids, that's pretty much it. And over this winter, I can think of at least 4 families we had that had 6 or more children. At least 4 families I can think of. Wendy Dow's there. She can tell you there was I want to say at least 10, but I can think specifically of 4 families with 6 or more children. And when they come to our door, unfortunately, we don't have the room and shelter to do that because then we have a fire marshal issue. So then we rotate over hotel vouchers, but that can only go so long because funding is so limited. So just kind of put those 2 things together. So that's what we have to face with every day and kind of come up with solutions and move some things around to make sure that happens. But that's just the reality of what we're facing right now.
Well, I want to thank you all for giving us the glimpse into your day-to-day and the programs you're managing, the challenges you face. Thank you so much for sharing. It was very impactful. And I officially nominate Roberto to be the MC next year. So kidding aside, we did just hear and see through the scenes they acted out the realities of what Neighborhood Alliance is working with day to day in their programs, the people they're trying to reach, the people they're trying to help. You heard about the challenges they have, only 3 family rooms, so many others. So I know everyone here tonight is supportive of Neighborhood Alliance, and we appreciate you greatly for it. And anything you can do to continue that support tonight and beyond is greatly appreciated. We know the work that's being done is so important, and it's only possible with the support of everyone in this room. So as we go into the dessert dash, donate generously so you can get a great dessert and help build another family room, perhaps.
Thank you.
And I believe now Alicia is coming back up to the stage.
I want to start out by thanking all of you once again for joining us tonight to talk about Neighborhood Alliance, our wonderful programs, and more specifically, to learn about shelter and emergency services. The video we shared earlier tonight talked about the details of our unique programs that we offer under the umbrella of shelter and emergency services. The Haven Center, Case Management, UCAN, Projects for Assistance in Transition from Homelessness, or PATH, PATH, SUD, Substance Use Disorder, LC4 Ukraine. We have a very, very new program that we are in the process of getting up and running as well. You heard me mention it earlier tonight, Family Promise of Greater Lorain. You may remember that back in 2019, Family Promise of Lorain County closed its doors, and Neighborhood Alliance was there to take over the 14 dorm rooms that they had at Family Promise. We've been housing individuals and families in those rooms ever since. However, we are now a new affiliate partner of Family Promise National. Neighborhood Alliance has begun to place greater focus on homelessness prevention, shelter diversion, and housing retention, filling identified gaps in the Lorain County homeless system. There is currently no organization in Lorain County specifically dedicated to providing homelessness prevention and housing retention case management. When we house people at the homeless shelter, they go into housing, our services stop. We see a lot of recidivism. We see a lot of people come back into the shelter time and time again because they get into housing and something happens, and they just aren't prepared to deal with that. Or they abandon their housing because something has gone wrong and they're so scared to talk to their landlord about the issue that they just abandon housing because it's easier than having that conversation. They're afraid they're going to get evicted. With the affordable housing crisis that we face, keeping people housed is essential to ensuring that our shelter system does not continue to be overloaded. And I can tell you, the system in Lorain County is overloaded. Over the last 3 years, Neighborhood Alliance has provided more than 71,000 nights of shelter. We have had more than 1,500 people call the shelter home, including 425 children. PATH has touched the lives of close to 300 unsheltered homeless individuals. We've opened warming centers and used nearly $1 million to provide additional shelter in local hotels. None of this is ideal. It's expensive, it's exhausting for the staff, having people in multiple sites across the county and having to try to deliver services in that way is nearly impossible. There are many benefits to having residents on site at the shelter as opposed to in these off-site locations. It allows us to serve them better with food and essential supplies, but it also allows our case management team to work more closely with them to create case plans, help find housing, and empower them with the tools they need to move forward out of homelessness. The Haven Center Homeless Shelter was constructed in 1992. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know where I was in 1992, and it was not running a nonprofit organization. I won't tell you where I was, but I was not doing this. That was a long time ago, and that was the last time that the shelter had a full renovation when it was built. We've done minor repairs and minor renovations over the years, but not a full-scale renovation of the shelter. And for those of you that have been to visit it, and I know there's a number of you in this room that have been through the shelter, it's in desperate need of upgrades. The facility has a total of 12 dorm rooms, most of which are dedicated to single individuals. Each of those rooms has 7 beds, so you have 7 unrelated people in each of those rooms spending the night. If you think about how uncomfortable that would be, I know, I've gone to conferences and done different things throughout my lifetime, and they put you in a room with someone you don't know, one person, and it's uncomfortable. Imagine 7, and you don't know these people. There are technically a total of 4 rooms dedicated to families. However, we only have 3 available right now because we have to have some place to quarantine people. And you've got 7 people to a room, and you have communicable disease, which we've had our share of recently. You have to have some place that you can put someone who's showing symptoms. That could be something as simple as pink eye or lice, things like that that happen in a congregate setting. We have to have some place where we can separate them out, and we had to take one of our smallest rooms, which is a family room, to do that. These 4 family rooms are the only shelter rooms in Lorain County for families. As Roberto mentioned, compounding that issue, many families we see are larger. Sometimes we see families that are up to 12 people, and a 4 or 5 person room will not accommodate that family. For those families, we have one of 2 options. We can take over a 7-person female dorm room because those are closest to the family rooms. We don't want to put them down in the men's hallway, which then lowers our capacity to take single females, and we are the only female shelter in the county. That's a problem. Or we can put that family in a hotel, $1 million later. We've been fortunate that that funding has been made available to us over the last 3 years, but a lot of that was pandemic funding, which we all know is ending. Where we go from here is important. Because we have dorm-style restrooms, about 30 people share each of those bathrooms. 30 people. The showers are in there. There is no place for them to change clothes that's not public. The bathrooms are in there, the toilets, the sinks, everything. You have a men's and you have a women's, a female. And that's all there is. They're all sharing. We have one restroom that's shared by families, and that includes a bathtub where they can bathe their children. Just one. All of these things have made the Haven Center Homeless Shelter very challenging for us, not just during the pandemic, but all the time. Fortunately, I have good news, so I hope everybody's not too depressed, because this spring, we will embark on the next part of our 6-phase renovation project. You saw the kitchen, you saw what we were able to do in 1 year. Next is the Haven Center. We will be breaking ground in just a few short weeks, if everything goes the way it's supposed to, on our addition, on our shelter location at 1536 East 30th Street in Lorraine. It's a very, very exciting thing for all of us who are serving the homeless community here in Lorraine County. Our building currently houses the early intervention program, along with all shelter and emergency services. Everyone is crammed into tiny offices, as my team will tell you. We've got people building desks inside closets and sharing offices, sometimes 3 and 4 people in the same office. We desperately need an upgrade there and renovations as well. This portion of our renovation project contains 3 of our 6 phases. The new addition, the renovation of our current dorm rooms, and the renovation of the 3-story office building that's attached to the shelter. That's where early intervention is at currently. During a later phase of this project, early intervention will make their move to our Washington Avenue building in Elyria, the former YMCA, allowing our Lorraine building to be used strictly for shelter and emergency services. The Haven Center will go from being a 68-bed facility to having 8 dorm rooms. The new build will provide either non-congregate or semi-congregate, so much fewer people sharing rooms, dorm rooms, and each dorm room will have private bathroom facilities for the people who are using that room. The family rooms will contain a pass-through door, and there are 9 family rooms in this build. They have a pass-through door that will accommodate larger families. If you think about adjoining hotel rooms, if you've taken your kids somewhere, they're in one room, you're in another, you've got that adjoining door, that's what we're doing with our shelter, because then we can open up that door and open up 2 rooms with 2 bathrooms to these larger families to give them more space. We plan to use the existing building to create a family room where families can spend quality time together, and a courtyard in the center so that we can provide playground equipment to the children who are experiencing homelessness so that they can get outside without having to go through security every time they go outside. They can get some fresh air. The parents or any other single people that are in the shelter can garden. They'll be able to plant flowers and things like that in that courtyard. But it'll also give our kids a chance to be kids. We're also planning to create a drop-in center for the PATH program so that the unsheltered homeless, people who are staying in a tent outside, have the ability to come inside for a hot meal. It's always surprising to people when I say not everybody wants to come inside. Not everybody is comfortable in a congregate setting like we have at the shelter, and sometimes they choose to stay out there. But that doesn't mean they don't want to shower, and it doesn't mean they don't need a place to do their laundry, and it doesn't mean they don't want a hot meal. We're going to create a space where they can do those things. We have been very fortunate, and I will say we've also worked very hard, so it's not all just fortune, to secure the bulk of the funding for the Haven Center addition. The estimated cost of this addition, unfortunately, continues to rise as costs continue to rise, and is now estimated at about $2.7 million just for the addition. With the help of the Lorraine County Commissioners and their Community Development Department, we were able to secure a little over $1 million for this project. In addition, the City of Lorraine approved ARPA funds in the amount of $900,000 to help get us closer to our goal. So we're getting there. It's good. Yeah. We have Mayor Jack Bradley with us and Commissioner Michelle Hung, and thank you both for your help and your support with that. There's no way we would be where we are right now without that funding, so thank you. We also have several of our local foundations, and boy, are they fantastic. They've stepped up to help us with this as well, and we have community members that have pitched in, bringing the final amount that we still need to raise for this edition to just about $70,000. Out of 2.7 million, I'll take it. The remaining phases of the shelter will require us to bring in an additional 1.7 million. So that additional dorm space, the 3-story building, we are working very diligently to continue to raise funds and raise awareness so that we can bring these plans to fruition. As you saw in our earlier presentation, people come to us from a variety of different situations. They all need the time and attention of our trained professional staff to help them craft a plan and remove barriers to permanent housing. We know the very best way to serve them is on-site in the shelter. You may have noticed our theme tonight involved the color red and lots of flames. Red is the color that we associate with the Haven Center Homeless Shelter and our Shelter and Emergency Services here at Neighborhood Alliance. But red is also the color for emergency services in many other sectors as well, like red lights on a fire truck or a red stop sign or stoplight. It calls for attention, indicates importance, and demands action. We paired the color red with fire as a symbol of transformation and change. Fire is also often used to describe chaos, as in, everything was on fire. I had to put out a number of fires today. I believe that our clients sometimes feel like their lives are on fire, like everything is burning to the ground around them. Our team knows how to help them stop those flames and spark change for a different kind of fire. Because a simple spark of change has the power to alter lives. We believe that our renovation plans, increased capacity, and new programming will help us create the right conditions for action and transformation within the homeless population in Lorain County. Thank you. So I'm going to stay up here for just a minute. I would like to take a moment to recognize and not push this off the stage. It's my biggest fear tonight. Not that I'm going to fall off, but I'm going to push this off. I would like to recognize our board of directors and our staff who are in attendance tonight. If you could all stand where you are to be recognized, I would appreciate it. Okay, I'm off script here, so someone give me the, if I get too long, but I just wanted to say to our staff and to our board how much I appreciate each and every one of you. You know, I get up here and I do the talking, and I'm sometimes the face in public, and I'm the one who's, you know, on the page of the newspaper and all of that. But the work behind the scenes is what's really important. And I wouldn't be standing here today without all of you. So thank you all for your dedication to the programs that we have, to looking at new programming, to filling gaps, and to helping us move this organization forward. That's our whole process, right? Move it forward. We have to keep going. We're close to 100 years. We want to keep on going for 100 more. So thank you all for your dedication and support. You guys are the best.